Well, good morning again. Once again, there's been a slight delay since the last one. A few days over the weekend involved in charity stuff, which I really enjoy. So before I go on to PTSD, a subject which I am qualified to talk about, I'd like to just remind people that there are veterans out there being looked after by charities. I'm a patron of a couple of those charities. The Land's End, I beg your pardon, the John O'Groats to Land's End bike run that took place over 13 days, nearly 1,000 miles, by Vet Run 180 and Pilgrim Bandits. Pilgrim Bandits did the cycling, and the Vet Run 180 they supported the Pilgrim Bandits throughout that trip. I was there at the finish, and what a sight. You've only got to look online. What a sight for these injured lads and lasses who've been through the mill. However, there are people take time out, like the guys who run Pilgrim Bandits and Vet Run 180. Nothing but respect. I've been an ambassador for Pilgrim Bandits. I'm a patron at the moment for Vet Run 180. Amazing. So it just shows you what can be done for our veterans, and especially our injured veterans. So without further ado, I will be doing a charity one of these at some stage. I'd like to just quickly move on in layman's language. I'm not a professor. All I need you to do is grasp it. There's been so much stuff talked about PTSD and everything else that goes with it. However, what about some action? We'll come on to that later. So, myself, I joined at 15 in a military uniform. I left at age 42. Glad to get the uniform off, I'll be honest. 27 years. So I class myself as a veteran. What is PTSD? Well, post-traumatic stress disorder. It's a mental health issue, condition if you like, caused by trauma, experiences, and the symptoms include nightmares, flashbacks, different sleeping habits, anxiousness. Well, I've had all of them. I'll come on to my side of it so people can relate to me as I'm telling you the story. Remember, there's so many of these guys on the streets, not only on the streets, but PTSD has wrecked their lives. The treatment, well, all sorts have been recommended, but in the main, from what I can see, give them antidepressants, conversation therapy. I've had both, by the way. I've had both. And if you look at what is actually written about it, is what are the causes, or what sometimes is in the back of the head. And there's two things that are written down. One is, this is really, I suppose, for civilians, is road accidents, pregnancy. However, you add that to the military side, shootings that they've seen, or taken part in, killings, mass killings, that death smell, especially in hot countries, road accidents, yes, assaults, killing others. You add that to the long list of anything personal that can take them back in time that they can think of. They're a recipe somewhere down the line to get PTSD. So the thoughts and feelings that stay with people, and as I say, I can speak for this, can last a very, very long time, way after the events. If you look at my book, some of the events that took place in my early life to some of the events that took place up until I left the army and since I left the army. Different ways of fighting it. Different ways of fighting it. But I defy anybody not to seek help, because help is there. Not everybody can find it. They go to certain areas where they think and they get turned away. So what happens? A squaddy's thought, anxiety, depression, a mixture of both, moderate, severe. Yeah, another feeling. Alcohol. In a squaddy, there's always alcohol involvement, 9 times out of 10. That can lead, if not only that, to homelessness. Chucked onto the streets, and as I've said before in my last video, these guys need help. Let's get these barracks that have been vacated, let's get them open, let's get them refurbished, and let's get these guys and girls, however, into some form of accommodation where they can feel part of the system again. Only the likes of us can help, but it's not funny. And don't forget how many breakups in relationships that have come through somebody with PTSD. Families, whole families, wives and kids. Is that right? Whoever's got the PTSD can find themselves doing silly things, and it affects everybody. So the sooner we can actually get it cleared up, maybe the sooner the other people can have lives again. And that's how I see it. You know, suicides. We've just seen one of our lads, an SAS guy, David. He was crying out for help, never got any help really, abroad, and he passed away a couple of weeks ago. Maybe if he'd have got the help that was needed by that individual, maybe he would still be here today. And I don't just class him, by the way, I'm talking about everybody. Everybody may need help at some time, and we should be there to do, to try and help them. Because I'm a patron for a couple of charities. One of them is the Homeless Veterans Project up in Scotland as well. I've seen the homeless, I've seen the injured, I've heard the stories about people with PTSD, and I've seen individuals that have PTSD. It isn't funny. The fact is that that is where we are. Well, I left the forces in 1992. What I'd seen throughout that time, unbelievable. However, when you join the forces, you go in, you have a medical. In my day, if I'm not mistaken, it was classed as A1 fit. You're fit to join the military. Does it mean that you're going to cope with everything you see throughout your time in the military? Because times changed. I see the big change between 1965 as a boy soldier and 1992 when I walked out the gate. Big changes. A different warfare. And I've done quite a lot. And when you leave, you get another medical. as I had. Okay, I would suggest and think that not everybody is A1 fit when they leave. So you get assessed percentage-wise. It was, as I say, I don't know how it is now. I'm telling you a story of my side. So I left medical. They go away and assess. Obviously, the doctors that have done it, they have to assess it, write reports. And up there on top of my cabinet, I've got medical reports from day one like this. All sorts. I keep everything, just in case I ever need it. So I had mine, and they give you a war pension, as they call it. But in yourself, you feel, Christ, maybe they missed this, maybe I don't. So I went back. And not only that did I go back, but 3 other guys that I know, all of them in B squadron, same squadron as me, went back at different times over the next year or two. I think mine was 94, had a reassessment. Well, this time they brought and diagnosed PTSD. However, they didn't really know what it was or what to do about it. But I was quite lucky because the psychiatrist that I went to see was an ex-MO, medical officer in 22 SAS. He knew me, he knew my background. For his time, he would have spent 2 or 3 years, arguably, as a medical officer, chief medical officer in the SAS, as they have medical officers in lots and lots of different units. He just happened to become a psychiatrist, and my job, having been assessed with this, was to go down to King's College, for those who know it, in London, where they had a department there where this Dr. Ian used to see people like myself. That was the department. So it was backwards and forwards from Hereford, irregular times, obviously. But he knew my background, that was one thing. And of course, the other guys that were reassessed found the same later. He knew their backgrounds. I don't know whether he dealt with them, but King's College was the place. Get your ticket, get yourself down there, go and get seen to, have your conversation, check the medicine, get back on the train, go home, and then put your train ticket in and get your money back. So that was free. I think it's about the only thing I did get that was free. And that happened time and time again, until one day, round about 2010, maybe 11, I tried to get other appointments. Well, the phones always rang, but nobody ever picked them up. I thought, strange. Never received any communication. Strange. Have they forgotten about me? Strange. However, I'd made numerous calls. One day a guy picked up a phone who'd been there a long time and said, "Oh, the department you're talking about is now in Colchester." Okay. So there was a couple of years gone by with nothing. Still doing some work on the circuit, as they call it. But the treatment stopped there and then, really. So everything I was doing or done just seemed to be a waste of time. The MOD, in my opinion, should take more responsibility. As far as I can see, they don't want any responsibility to individuals that have got PTSD. One, because there's too many of them, and two, it looks like their responsibility, which they're quite happy to slope their shoulders and say, we don't deal with that. So this is why all the individuals are out and about. Some have got it, some have probably got it and don't know, but it doesn't help. It needs a centralized point, which is a proper way of dealing with it. This is from my time. The people I speak to now have totally different stories. But where's it got to from when I had it? I still get different things at different times. Self-managed, a lot of it. Tablets by the million. And as late as 2017, I went down with, I'll tell you the truth, moderate severe anxiety again. I went off the road for 10 months, 2 or 3 conversations a week with different therapists down in the southwest of the country. I can't thank them enough. Left the charities as an ambassador. I said I can't do it. I can't face anything. And didn't. But I beat it. After 10 months, I went back to the charity, became an ambassador again, and then started getting out and about as I was doing before. But it's when it hits you like that, and then you try to find a reason with yourself, it's very difficult. And I'm no different. Strong-willed? Yes, I am. I'm proud of it. But maybe some people are different to me. Maybe they need more help than I did. Who knows? But once again, it does affect the roundabout family. They have to live with you in that scenario. And I think sometimes the families get forgotten about, or forgotten about, shall I say, even better. But actually, they should be right at the forefront, shouldn't they? It took me a long time to find that out, but they should be. They are looking at you and wondering what the next move is. It affects the whole family. What is the answer? The government and the MOD should do far more to help. If it wasn't for charities, there'd be far more on the street, no doubt far more deaths through suicides in the main probably, and far more families maybe torn apart. There's a lot of serious cases out there. I don't class mine as serious as what I've seen, what I've heard, and the stories, and I work in that environment. I'm a volunteer. I don't get paid. I'm a volunteer. But I do enjoy helping injured, trying to do my best for them. And it's not sympathy they want, none of them, because they know they're not going to get it off us. What they need is help. Help, and help the homeless. Let's treat PTSD properly. They've fought for the country, they've seen some horrible sides, traumatic experiences. We should be looking at treating it and not trying to forget it. It'll go away. Well, I can tell you now, it's never going to go away. I've mentioned David. He was abroad, cried for help. As I see, he didn't really get any help. ended up, he passed away. Could have been saved, maybe. Veteran cases of PTSD, obviously more than 90%, I would say, and I'm not a statistician, but I would say as service related, because of the way the services are. That's why the MOD should take a better look at this. You guys can pass this around, and you know, as much as you stamp your feet, they just shrug their shoulders, take no responsibility, take the money and walk around the corridors of doom. What I'd like to do is look forward to some comments of what I've said. I mean what I say. I think most people know that. We need to fight and get our service personnel and ex-service personnel, veterans, off the streets, fixed, and let them have something to look forward to. Everyone can help in this, but I'm speaking out on it, and I'm speaking out because I'm entitled to speak about it, and it needs looking at. I hope, and I know there are one or two ex-SAS guys like myself in different charities. They've got their own battles with the MOD and stuff. Fair play. But it's the same again. For us to help the veterans, we need the motto. Who dares wins. MOD.